Most people think scaling is about doing more. It's not. It's about thinking better, moving smarter, and building a brand that people actually trust. So, if you're new to the videos, don't know who I am, my name is Luella and I run a advertising and creatives agency helping hair and beauty brands grow to 6 all the way up to 7-figure businesses. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down what actually drives growth. So whether it be the mindset, the creatives, and the moves that actually matter. So grab a cup of whatever you want. I've got some honey, lemon, turmeric and cinnamon tea. Get comfortable, as you can see, and enjoy the video. Okay, so point 1 is that your mindset is your bottleneck. And to me, this is one of the biggest points, especially in business. I feel like if you haven't got your mindset right, your business is not going to scale, it's not going to grow. You need to get that sorted first and foremost. The biggest difference I see between the businesses that actually, or the founders, should I say, that actually scale and the ones that stay stuck is definitely mindset. It's not product, it's not the budget itself. Yes, obviously that helps. However, it's the mindset of the founder. If you're, for example, scared of investing in help, if you're waiting for everything to be perfect, and you're also in need of constant validation, we need to restructure a couple of things, you know what I mean? If you're building a business, and also this was also the case when I say was and still currently building my business, at the end of the day, unless you are a freelancer, if you want to be running this business like an actual business, you need to be delegating certain things. You don't need to be doing everything yourself. Yes, I understand when funds are tight, sometimes you're doing the customer service, you're answering all the emails, you're doing all the packaging, you're doing all the content, you're doing all the emails, you're doing all this, you're doing all that, you're doing everything. However, like I said, if you want to run it like a business, you need to delegate certain tasks. And if that means investing £200, £1,000, £2,000, whatever, into someone that can elevate your business, it needs to be done. Yes, you need to do your due diligence into whether that person is actually going to do what they say they do. However, you need to invest, and you need to, most importantly, delegate. Like I said, there's only a certain amount of hours in the day that you can do things. Like, you can't do everything. Like I said, you can't do all the emails, do all the packaging, do all the content and everything and do it efficiently. Actually, you know what? You probably can do it, but you can't do it efficiently. If you want to run ads, if you want to create really good content, that you have to understand there's people out there who can do these things really, 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 really well, and they specialize in these things. So why not invest in doing that and helping your business grow? Like I said, I understand the hesitation. I get on calls with people every day who are hesitant to invest in their business. However, you need to take the leap, and you need to do that. Another one is waiting for perfection. Now, I can speak from experience because I was very much like this. You see these YouTube videos that are up now, you know how long I wanted to do YouTube for, but no, it's so cringe. Oh no, I haven't done this yet, I haven't done that yet, I haven't. Okay, now I say to my clients as well, and I can also say to myself, and I say to you, yes, you who's watching the video and wanting to start whatever it is, you really, honestly, you can't wait for the perfect time, because there will never, ever, 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 ever be a perfect time. And it will always be, oh, but when this or when that or when this. You have to just start, and you'll learn along the way, and you will make mistakes, and they might be costly mistakes, they might be embarrassing mistakes. However, really quickly, I was watching what's his name, Alex Hormozy. I watch his content all the time, and he was talking about, realistically, at the end of the day, it sounds morbid, it really does, but at the end of the day, everybody's gonna die, you know what I mean? So all the people that you're really concerned about, oh, they're gonna think this, or this person is gonna think this, or this, or this, or this. At the end of the day, you know what? Let me try and find that. I'll try and find that clip and put it in there.
All of the reasons that we tell ourselves why we shouldn't go after big things are completely irrelevant after we die. And the people's opinions that we're afraid of, they too die. If people live on past us, they don't think about us. And if people don't live on past us, they're dead anyway.
Yes, you can't wait for the perfect time. You can't think because things aren't perfect and people are gonna say this about you and people are gonna say that about you. So what? Also, I kind of think to myself as well, unless people are like, in my opinion, it's only miserable people who have nothing going, I'll keep it real, who've got nothing going on in their lives, who are sat there gossiping and talking negatively about people because they have nothing else to do, and that's their form of entertainment. You know what I mean? There's no one above you or doing the things that you want to do who was sat there and thinking, oh my gosh, she's so this, he's so that. Like, come on now. You have to think where you want to be at and where other people are at, and just, anyway. So that's one. Touching really quickly on this one is a constant need for validation. Now, starting my business, I feel like a lot of business owners already have this instilled in their mind, because when you start a business, you already know, yes, you're going to have people rooting for you, but that kind of fades away, and you have to be your own supporter and your own motivator, because you're not going to have reassurance at every single move. You're not going to have people being like, oh yes, this is good to do and that is good to do. You need to, else you're going to be moving at like a snail's pace, you know what I mean? So that is you need to be your own motivator, and the motivation and the discipline needs to come from inwards, not outwards. I hope that makes sense. And at the end of the day, if you're moving like someone who's trying not to ever, oh, I don't want to lose money, I don't want to lose money, you're not gonna, you're never gonna build a business that actually makes money. You have to take the risk. You have to, like I said, invest in, whether it be people or different product, things that are gonna elevate your business. However, that also starts in the mindset. Really quickly, bonus point as well, because I could go on about this forever, and those are just a few points, but yes, invest in yourself, whether it be learning about how to improve sales, obviously watching videos, YouTube videos are helpful, but also actioning them, reading books, all of that. Anyway, next point. Okay, so point 2 is that your creativity needs direction. So I see a lot of, especially small business owners, you're posting on whether it be Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, or if you're doing ads. Yes, I feel like a lot of business owners post to post. They think that posting more content is the answer, when posting with clarity is, and posting with actual structure and knowing what your goal is for the post, if you get what I mean. For example, whether it be having a funnel of top of funnel post, middle of funnel post, and bottom of funnel post. So knowing that this post is for brand awareness, this post is for making people more aware of who we are and whether it be founder content and introducing the product or service to a new audience, or is this content more so honing in on retargeting people who already know about the brand? Basically having a direction as to what your posts are for, not just posting to post. There's a difference between random content versus strategic storytelling, and that's where you see the brands that do really well, and whether it be get lots of engagement, but also it drives traffic, and then that turns into sales rather than just, people are liking on the picture or people are seeing the video or whatever. You actually want to drive sales. So brands I've seen that have done this really well, or shoots I've been on actually that have had a clear plan towards what they want this content to be for, are Rucker Hair and also Hair Virginity. And one thing I'd say with these brands is they knew beforehand, each and every post, it had a plan behind it as to what they wanted their customers to do when they saw that post. Was it introducing a new product? Was it creating more trust and authority with the brand, whether it be, the founder talking about why she started the company or things like that? Or was it honing down on, okay, this is a really bottom of funnel, we want people to buy from this creative? So now, obviously, when you're starting out, this is going to be harder. It's harder said than done. However, at the end of the day, practice makes perfect, and thinking out beforehand, okay, what is this post for? Does it have intention behind it? Or it might even be reaching out to someone that can help you with this. But yeah, do your research and have a plan and post strategically, not just ad hoc and random things. Trust me, it doesn't look good, and yeah. Now, point 3 is that you cannot scale chaos. If you have a chaotic business with no structures, with no SOPs, with nothing, you can't scale that. One thing I've learned working with brands that have scaled super fast is that structure comes before speed. Yes, speed is really, really important. And again, I forgot what podcast I was watching, and they were talking about really random actually, not even podcast. I was watching this video, TED Talk with the founder of ChatGPT or whatever, and he was talking about how fast the business scaled, obviously, since they had launched it, and that it was really chaotic for the team and everyone was working overtime and it was really stressful and all of this and all of that, and how he really wished he kind of predicted that. Yes, he thought it was going to be successful product, but he wished he had better structures in place that when that scale happened super quick. And obviously that's on a massive scale, but yeah, I just found that really insightful, because I was like, okay, I think so many businesses think, yes, I really want to scale fast, I really want to grow my business, I really want to do this, I really want to do that, but they don't think about how they're going to manage that. And one thing I've noticed with especially doing ads for businesses, when they start at, let's say I was working with this brand, she was doing about 30k a month, and within, even though it was quite relatively, I say about 5 months, she was doing about 100k a month. However, yes, she was happy with the extra revenue. She was doing all the packaging herself, she was doing all the labeling herself, she was doing all of that, the emails, whatnot. And with that scale, even though yes, 5 months was a relatively long time, it meant, okay, also looking at warehouses that she needed to outsource to bringing in people that could do her customer service, bringing in people to do, obviously I was doing her ads, so she had that outsourced, but people to do her content, so then she could focus on different things, whether that speaking with vendors or whatnot. This was a hair business, and that for me, I kind of learned as well, because a lot of the clients that I work with were very close in that, yes, I'm handling a certain part of their marketing, so their advertising and their creatives. However, we will speak and they'll tell me about how things are going with their vendors, or how things are going with if they have shoots, because I help out a lot of shoots and things like that. And I get to know and understand a lot of the problems they have from where they were and where they are when they're doing, let's say 100k months, scaling even further, and the problems that arise with that. And I think, yeah, having systems in place, having SOPs in place, having delegation, and knowing how that's going to look when you grow is really important to consider, because when you have a messy back end and you grow, it just creates, burnout. You don't have, like I said, the money is nice, and yes, money is nice, however, you want to have structure. So for my small business owners, I'd say not only does it give you peace of mind when you have structure, but also you're running it like a business, not just things here and there. And I've seen as well, there's this really big clothing brand. She used to be American based, she's based in London now, and every single time I go on this business's Instagram, you always see in the comments, and I feel like this is a lot of recently I've seen this happening a lot, you always see in the comments, I haven't received my order, I've emailed customer service a million times and nobody's answered me, and this and that. And I've seen loads of people comment that, and I'm thinking, not only is that terrible for people who are thinking of placing an order, for one, because if that was me, I'd be instantly put off if I'm not only haven't received my order in age, I can see other people haven't received their orders, but there's been no response from the Instagram page or the emails. I'd be like, okay. But also those people, they're not going to be repeat buyers, and repeat buyers are great. Low customers are great. When you ruin your relationship with those, you're already off to a bad start. However, if you anticipate for the growth and you have systems in place, not only does it make it smoother, but also it makes things less chaotic and it helps you run like a business. So don't be like that. Point 5, if you want to scale your business to 6, 7, whatever figures, you need to start measuring your results and know that data isn't optional. Yes, and this is what I also had to learn myself. Yes, it's all well and nice knowing that, okay, you've posted this amount, or you've done this, or you've done that, but you need to measure it, and you need to know that you can say, okay, if I do, whether it be X posts or X amount of this, it in the past has resulted to this, and therefore you can replicate it, and if you scale it, it can give you this type of results. Now, going down into metrics and all of that, basically in the early stage of business, it's all well and nice to rely on gut feelings and word of mouth, or feeling if something is working out or not. However, when you're actually scaling and growing and looking to hit those 6 or 7 figure months, your data is going to be your best friend. Basically, without measuring your progress, you're basically shooting in the dark. So this is why you need to start measuring. Data helps you gain clarity on what you're actually doing. You might feel like you're doing everything right. You're posting consistently, you're launching new products, you are trying new ads, but if you don't have solid metrics to actually look at, you're just guessing, let's be real. So for example, here are a few things that you could be measuring. So average order value, AOV, how much are each customer spending? This tells you if you need to adjust pricings, your bundles, your offers, what is the customer acquisition cost. So this is especially the case if you're running ads, but how much, and this is really important, how much is it costing you to actually acquire a customer? Now, again, this can be broken down a lot, but there's so many metrics that you could be looking into. I'm just going to go over a few and then briefly what they actually mean and why it's important. Obviously, return on ad spend. If you are doing ads, for every £1 on ads that you actually, and again, actually let me hone down on this. If you are running ads, you need to be looking at these metrics. There's not a if, but, or maybe. You need to be looking at these things, else you'll just, like I said, shooting in the dark, and essentially you're just wasting money, to be honest, because if you've just launched ads and you're not getting a lot of purchases coming in, if you're able to look at things like how many people are adding to cart, how many people are, what is the hook rate of this video, what is the hold rate of this video, are people actually engaging with the video, are they clicking the link, are looking at different things depending on what your goal is. It lets you know that whether the creative itself or the ad itself is actually effective. Also things like lifetime value of the customer. So again, there's loads of metrics you could be looking at, but this data helps you identify what's working and what isn't working. You can't just scale what you don't understand. If you don't know what's driving sales for your business and what isn't, you're basically just pouring money into random initiatives that you're hoping, something, but you're basically hoping and wishing something sticks. So an example of this for me is that I used to work with a client running several ads, but one had a really high ROAS while another had barely any engagement. When we analysed the data, it was basically clear that the high ROAS ad was speaking directly to the pain points of those customers, and while the other one wasn't resonating at all. Obviously, there was a couple of other things we looked at, but by doubling down on what was already working, we could then immediately see better results. And this is even the case when you have several ads that are performing really well. They might be getting a lot of purchases, but if you can see when you look at the metrics, okay, these ones have really high hold rates or hook rates, the engagement is good, the ROAS is good, cost per result is good too, you can then say, okay, we're going to double down on this type of creative because this one is more effective, basically, rather than this one, it's bringing in a few results but not the best. Basically, this allows you to optimize your efforts, and you have to understand that scaling always, and it is always going to require constant refinement. You need to be able to pivot quickly if something isn't delivering results. Now this, again, it goes for ads, it goes for content, it goes for emails, it goes for products, I suppose, it goes for vendors, it goes for suppliers, it goes for, a lot of things. But instead of continuing to just work harder or make random changes, you want to know where exactly to focus your attention. So this could mean, again, whether it be optimizing ad creatives, landing pages to make sure that your pages are converting and people aren't dropping off, or email subject lines and content. So the more data that you gather, the more confident you will be in making business decisions. Without the data, you're making decisions based on emotion or assumptions. With the data, you're making, decisions based on facts and backed by facts, or it might be trends or whatever. So, my dear friends, scaling your business, it's not just about, tactics, it's about mindset, it's about clarity, and it's about the way you move. And that is what I can only speak from experience. I am also growing my brand, which you will see throughout this journey on YouTube and my business in general. But from having done it for other businesses, these are things that I have seen firsthand work for them and help scale them to the 6 and 7 figures. And when new clients sign with me, these are the things that I implement for them that help them get to that stage too. And also, if you're looking for someone to help grow your business, if you have a small business yourself, or it's already a pretty successful business and you're looking to scale, my email is in the description. Let me know. We can set up a meeting. We can go over some tips and tricks. If you found the video useful, drop a like and also subscribe, and there'll be more of these videos coming very, very soon on how to scale and grow your business and how I did it for other people. And if you have a small business yourself, which I'm guessing you do as you clicked on this video, or you already have a successful business that's looking to scale and grow, drop me an email. It will be in the description and we can set up a call on how you can do that for yourself. So I will see you very soon. Lots of love, and yeah, have a great week. See you soon.